Hey ho. For a better week next week.
Yeah, we'll forget about that. Just put it to one side.
Yeah. To be fair, if you're going to get bad, at least get bad with your ragtag team, not with your starters.
That's right, yeah, exactly. And against a team that isn't supposed to be league leader either. So.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
This is the equivalent of a third choice.
Who is the third choice keeper?
I don't even know. His name's Nyland, I think.
He looks like a third choice keeper.
Yeah, third choice. Yeah, it's like a third choice QB for I don't know, Miami.
Miami. Oh,
they've been through 2 already this year, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Here we go.
The whole Liam QRD effect. Not really happened.
Nigel couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I've Mendon always said he could make it.
Don't think this whole Phil Predator guy always manages to do well. Yeah. He is a shocking person. You guys got a trophy? No. It was pre-bit.
Well, like from Rashad Mendon.
Hello and welcome to another Sunday edition of the LOC Report. Not just any Sunday as well. Remembrance Sunday, of course. We see here, of course, you could probably just about see on the camera, I can, that Chris is wearing his poppy. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a good day for many, sad day for many as well. So
yeah,
pay your respects and everything.
But one is an important day for all.
Yes, and of course it's an important day in the LOC football calendar because we are entering the double-digit weeks, and as we all know, that is crunch time in the LOC. But before we get to all of that, I must welcome my guest, Chris Leach, the co-host. How's it going, Chris?
Hello, yes, very well, thank you, very well. So these game day podcasts are getting good now.
Yeah, I enjoy them.
Yeah, I have to say, I think they've at least. I only need 3 or 4 hours until I find out if I'm right. Run on 3 or 4 days.
Or have the Thursday night game just completely wreck everything.
That's true, actually, yes. At least we can get a bit more of an accurate scene of what's going to happen today. So we'll see. But
yeah.
Yes,
and
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, certainly. It's an interesting picture right now. We'll get to all of that in a bit. But first of all, we must, of course, do the league news. No highlights for you this week. We are going to have another debate corner, I decided.
Okay.
I think it's a fun feature.
Okay, that's good.
So when we have something to debate, we can have debate corner. So
okay.
We'll have it after we've done everything else in the news. So we'll just go to the key transactions.
I look forward to that, people.
This first one here. Peculiar is one word.
Peculiar is certainly a word.
So Adam Vinatieri for Mason Rudolph. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. By Ross's team for Weddings and a few Newsom. Sure. Fine. $30. Excuse me?
$30, wow.
Can I point out as well, Greg Zerline was also available.
That's it. And bear in mind that Vinatieri really hasn't been firing on.
No, he nearly retired at the start of the season. That's how bad he was playing at some point. And he's gotten a bit better, but he's not Adam Vinatieri of old.
It's not like he's making all the plays.
No.
It's he's not like he's scoring a great deal of points.
I think he cost the Colts another game a few weeks ago after he cost them a few at the start of the season. So, questionable kicker choice in the first place. Now, Ross has got a lot of waiver money. I think this might be his first actual money ad this season.
Of all the times to use that, $30 on a kicker.
If he did it on Greg Olsen, I would have been like, it's a lot for a kicker, but he was the number one scoring kicker until his bye week, so fair enough. But yeah, Vinatieri, questionable choice. But
yeah,
there you go. Next one then, Damian Williams for the New York Jets by my team, $20. The reason I added this one was, he was a high-profile draft player, of course. You drafted him, Chris. He got injured, which it's debatable whether the injury would have, caused him to lose his role or if that would have happened anyway. Yep. But he did, and he obviously ended up on the free agent. He's back now. He's playing. He's scoring some points, perhaps a bit flukily, but it's the Chiefs' offense. Certainly. Players get points. That's how it goes. $20, and my team is barren, so
it's time to add him in. I mean, he will be boom or bust, and that's the thing. I dropped him because I'm in a very comfortable position in the sense that I don't need that sort of player every week. To pick someone like that for $20 this point in the year, can't really argue with that.
Sure. And then our last one here is by you, Chris. It's
yes.
Josh Gordon for Nick Folk, $7. Now, of course, Josh Gordon started the year with the Patriots. He looked okay, pretty good in the games played. Then he had an injury, some sort of bone bruise to the knee, I think. Wound up on IR, but it wasn't a season-ending injury, so he got released, and he was claimed by the Seahawks. He might not play this week. I think he has an ankle injury, but he may play. So
he may play. And I think for a $7 flyer, at this point of the year, he could well end up being the number one receiver there.
Sure, could be.
There's certainly red zone targets anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of upside for someone who otherwise would have gone missing.
Absolutely.
So I think $7 this time of the year, I'm all in on Josh Gordon.
Absolutely. So those were the key waiver ads, and usually we would have the trade block, but the trade deadline has now passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
no
more trade block.
Done. That's it. Done. Your whole team might be up for trade, Mike, but you have to keep them now.
Indeed. Quiet deadline. Nothing happened. I didn't communicate it, but I don't think that would have made a difference.
Was there one trade that happened?
We had a couple of trades. We can see them right now. I think it might have only been the one actually.
It was the whole team trade between Pat and Ross, wasn't it? Yeah.
What? Oh, okay, because that was right. Yes. So the one trade we had this season, Pakistan, Robert Woods, Michelle, and Miles Sanders went to Ross's team for Devontae Adams, and as of now, kind of looks like Ross probably got the better end of that. Injuries always happen. It can't be avoided. I still think Pat probably would have got the better end of that had Adams stayed healthy, but there's no doubt that those players for Ross's team have actually played a fairly key role.
Yeah, they've done well.
So, quite headline. So, as I said, we will move on to Debate Corner, and if you want to comment along, I see we have 2 listeners on Debate Corner, please do, and we'll let you join in the chat. But I was going to just go down for the last few episodes. Well, I say last few, there's still 6 or so episodes we will have of the LOC Report this year, but I have 6 or so items on the docket for the AGM next year, because usually we see at the AGM, I will obviously provide a list of what's being discussed, but it is just literally like the name of the thing we're discussing. Then we bring it up on the day, so I thought, why not? Let's have a debate corner, so we could start thinking about it, you could start thinking about it.
Yep.
And I think that would be better for the league.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
On the AGM docket at the top here, I have roster review. Now, obviously, we changed the system this season to our Superflex format.
Yep.
From our previous standard format. And as part of that, of course, we needed to add a review whether we wanted to keep it or not. So that is what we will be talking about on Debate Corner
this week. Well, I see. I think we're pretty on the same page with this. Cause sometimes we have completely polarising views, but this one I think we're on the same page with. I think that it has made everything much more exciting this year by having this format. That's it. You don't have to play a shitty tight end just because and you don't have some teams monopolising positions. You don't have certain teams. I don't know. We've seen 3 running back sets, but you don't have to play that way.
No, absolutely not.
I think in the regular format, you that is the kingmaker. Whilst in this, it's definitely not. So you don't even have to play with a running back. We've seen we've seen teams this year.
Yeah, I've fielded a few teams I think without a running back.
That's it. And we've seen other fairly more successful teams, may I add, do the same thing too.
Yeah.
So I think that it gives you a really broad spectrum as to what you can do with your team. Injuries and bye weeks a little bit easy to get round.
Yeah,
it's more accessible for new people, especially as last week we were talking about expansions, things like that. And I don't think there's any reason to change it. I do think people are enjoying it more, that they don't have to be herded into a particular way of playing.
Sure. Yeah, I've talked to a few people about this, and a couple of people I talked to are actually really keen to try and get back to the old system. Because from a trade point of view, they say that trades are now even more difficult. We kind of thought this would make it easier because you didn't have to be locked into a certain thing, but it actually made it harder in the sense that scarcity kind of created the trade.
Yep.
Trade need. Whereas if you were good at one position, you could trade that to get something you needed, and the other team could do that vice versa. But also from a draft point of view, they kind of liked, how getting one of the premier tight ends, had a use. They kind of missed that. From my personal point of view, there's things I like about the new way. I wouldn't say there's necessarily things I don't like. It's just I'm not sure it's any better. It's just different. if you get what I mean. Like, I like the flexibility, like you said, not having to be pigeonholed, but at the same time, I kind of feel like having that rigidity also helps, certainly in who you're going to play on a given week. You've got to play 2 running backs, you've got to play 2 receivers. As an example, for my team, I've had Philip Lindsay, who I've not played a lot because I've had this format.
Yeah.
I'd have basically been forced into playing him had we been in that old format, and probably would have benefited from it. Now it's questionable whether I should have played him or not, of course, but you know, I personally, my view is I don't mind. I like this new way for some things. I like the old way for other things. Ultimately, I
suspect that the people who want this back are the people who are right at the bottom of the coaching rank we're about to show you in about 45 minutes time.
Perhaps.
That's it. Because of that, you know, if you don't do your research and you don't play your best players in form and you just play your names, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's it. You draft a squad of players for that very reason. You don't draft a squad of players to then go, I'm only going to play 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end. You know, that's it. You can still do that, by the way. That's it. You can still do that. And if you in your head you want to go, I want to play my 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end.
Of course.
That's it. Then do it. But if you don't want to do it, then it gives people like me, for example, who you know, like to play 2 tight ends, you know, 3 receivers, you know, or 3 running backs and 2 tight ends, or you know, the flexibility to do that, you know. And I absolutely hate it when you have, you know, rules driven by people, who do badly any given year because of their own mistakes.
Exactly, and that's why we have the AGM and the voting.
Exactly that.
And you are right, because you know, although that rigidity is nice, it also works against you. As an example, I will use my team again. I didn't play Philip Lindsay every week. Some weeks it actually worked.
Yeah.
You know, because that was the whole idea of this. It would be, if you were a running back heavy team, it was so easy for you to carry on in the old system because you were having, any team would have to go up against the same team with the same format. So it's almost like you're instantly down. Whereas in this format, it's like, okay, I might not have great running backs, but I have 4 great receivers that I can match to your.
So that was always the annoyance of it. Is that if you had someone like that, or you had a reserve tight end, or you had your 4th receiver who was in form and you couldn't play him, and you had to trade him out for another receiver who was in equally good form, that wasn't really helping anybody.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think that people let themselves down at drafts where they don't pick the best players to start with, and then over the course of the year, they don't then play the waivers, and therefore they end up with a team that's only got maybe four names, and the rest of it is garbage.
Yeah,
you know, if you play the game as it's supposed to be played, then you've got absolutely no problem at all with personnel. Yeah. It's just who you pick every week. Yeah, and if you don't do it in that way, if you don't engage with the league, if you don't engage with the research, if you don't engage with watching the games, then you're always going to be down anyway. You can't rely on other people's mistakes. You have to rely on yourself. So if it all goes back to one starting point, it's far from the system that we have right now, which gives you maximum freedom. Yeah, that's it. And relies on you rather than somebody else.
Exactly. To bottom to your point, Chris, having that rigidity format wouldn't have helped my team this season from a bad team's point of view anyway. So
exactly. But somebody like Tom, I expect it probably would have helped because it would have forced him into a system where it would, and also other people into a system where it would have played to his benefit. Yeah. If you're leaving 250 points on the bench over the course of a year, so you have to look. It does
test how good you are as a coach, which is the whole point of fantasy.
Exactly. You have to look at yourself. That's it.
The only one thing I'll add at the end of this is of course a roster review, so it isn't a straight current versus previous. We could maybe meet somewhere in the middle by maybe saying you have to start one of each position and then have a couple of flexes or whatever. I don't know. That's more to talk about later on. But that was a good little stop at Debate Corner.
I do agree. That's it. The Debate Corner is good.
Yeah, we'll have more of that in the next few weeks. And final point on the news, because we have breaking news. Matthew Stafford will not play against the Bears.
Oh, let me come to that in a minute. This should be good.
Okay, and I think that breaks quite a streak for Matthew Stafford. He was obviously quite.
I mean, let's talk about Matthew Stafford, by the way. I'm thinking of Phil here, but
this is going to be great. That breaks quite a streak for Matthew Stafford because I believe he had the early career injury problems, but other than that, he's really been an Iron Man. So
absolutely.
Real shame for him.
Consistency in a franchise hasn't shown consistency.
Indeed. So we will go to the weekly recaps now, and of course, to do that, we need to go back to the marquee matchup, which I believe was...
That one.
Was it this game? It must have been this game. So, okay, here we go. Marquee matchup of last week in week 9. It was the Bedetonators against the Tuckfarts. The Bedetonators faced the Tuckfarts in a rematch of Corona Bowl 5. Historically, Bedetonators struggles against the Tuckfarts, and it was no different in this one, as the Tuckfarts took it 97-64. Tuckfarts now on a 5-game win streak at 8-1. Meanwhile, Coach Bedett falls to 3-6, looking down the lineups. Tuckfarts bailed out by Matthew Stafford to some degree. He got 31. Adrian Peterson flashback. He got 13. Mark Ingram got 12, and Brett Maher got 15. On Bedetonators side of the ball, nothing really fired. Aaron Rodgers only got 15. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson got 31 on his bench. Jamal Williams got 11. Mike Williams got 11, but not much else to speak of. The history of this matchup is now, bear with me, I think 4-10 in favour of the Tuckfarts. It is indeed.
Well, we've seen the Packers or bust strategy before. That's it. They will be able to tell you about this.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And it worked for a large part of the season for him, and then we came to a certain part of the season, and it stopped working.
And that certain part didn't include Aaron Rodgers.
Indeed.
But this game did.
This game did. And it also included both the running backs, of which we were praising the week previous, going, I said, this is fantastic. What a great strategy. And in this occasion, this is what's let him down.
And it was a weird one, because the Chargers have been a very yo-yo-ish team this year.
Yeah,
they just fired their offensive coordinator, but they put on a defensive masterclass.
Yep, that's absolutely.
Yeah.
I must admit, the game that I went when I was in the States, the game that I saw on TV when I was in Los Angeles was them playing Miami.
Mm.
And the Chargers team made Miami look competent.
Yeah, Miami scored
for a half. The other half they didn't, but for one half they did, and I'm thinking to myself, that is a complete difference. In comparison to years gone by.
Yeah. One thing I will say though is Rodgers came out and said after the game that, well, he didn't say, but he hinted that some of the Packers players may have been enjoying the LA nightlife the day before, which could have contributed.
If you're playing football in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and it's November.
Mm-hmm.
Then
not really the most happening place at any time of the year.
No, but especially in November where it's fucking cold. Then you're gonna, if you go to Los Angeles and it's like 20 degrees and it's nice.
Yeah.
Then great. I can understand why.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, they're sort of there to play football. They're professionals, but look,
sure,
doesn't matter here. It's let Ollie down, and when Aaron Jones isn't scoring 20 points a game, when Rodgers isn't scoring 30 points a game, that's where he lets them down. So other than that, you've got streaky guys. Kenny Stills, I think, has done okay, but 52 yards. Mm-hmm. It's not terrible value for what he is. Sammy Watkins, 63 yards again.
Mm-hmm.
Playing Minnesota. These are all scores they expect to get. So, yeah, it's Packers or bust. Unfortunately, this week it's bust.
It is, yeah.
As for Phil, talking about bust, the Patriots D, they busted this week.
Yeah, we all saw it coming.
Yep, absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's it. And, it shows that they are, fallible. They're able to be beaten. But other than that, so the supporting cast are still there. Staff is doing it for him again. So he's shown some faith in him, and quite rightly as well. But there's guys who you don't expect. Like Pearson, who to be fair to Washington, they are running the ball a lot now.
Against Buffalo as well. They're not the easiest of run defenses to go up against. So
not at all. It was awful
really rolling out the clock.
Guys like Ingram. I see it rolling back the clock.
Mm-hmm.
For Phil now, I don't think he has that many premier names in the sense that he's got Saquon Barkley, and that's about it until Mahomes comes back.
Yeah. Which he is back this week.
Yeah,
I believe.
So, and we'll see how he's doing. But yeah, I have to say that this is a pretty untypical Phil performance this week in the sense that there's a lot of players that have actually competed and chipped in. Whilst Ollie, you have to worry about where that's going if the Packers don't turn up.
Yeah, certainly. As I said, Phil moves to 8-1 now, one step closer to playoffs for him. Forge Flies versus the Dream Team is our next game then. The 6-2 Fudge Flyers took on the 4-4 Dream Team in Week 9, and Fudge Flyers had the second best score of the week, only by a point though, 134-72. Looking down, Fudge Flyers had a great day. Dak Prescott getting 28 on the Giants, Carlos Hyde getting 14. They've actually been one of the better rushing teams this year. Houston. Christian McCaffrey, of course, he carried the load as he does, 35 points. And Mike Evans as well, he came up trumps with 24. Bills got 12 as well. Dream Team side of the ball, Carson Wentz got 17. It hasn't been quite firing. Ezekiel Elliott got 14. Zach Ertz had a good day with 16 as well, won a few this season. And the Eagles got 13, but not much else behind that. Fudge Flyers are now 5-6 all time against the Dream Team.
Yeah, there was a long time where in this game I thought that Viv was in it. I really did. It wasn't until the Gore didn't score. He had his chances to score. Diggs didn't do a great deal. And it was clear that Wentz wasn't going to go past 20 points. That I felt comfortable in this game. On the other side, you can't really, I certainly can't complain at the moment. Dak's had a great day against in a favourable matchup. I get it. Hyde's been a real decent pickup for free.
You say it's a favourable matchup. The same stadium against the Jets, the Cowboys had an absolutely awful day, and it could have been the same until the Black Cat set a curse on the Giants.
The Black Cat. Wow, that's it. Highlights of the week. That really is one of them.
My personal favourite meme of it is the Black Cat on the cover of Madden 21. You'd need to see that if you've not.
I like that. Carlos Hyde's been a really useful pickup from the waivers.
Yeah,
going to say that one fumbles. It sounds worse than it is.
It should have been a touchdown.
Exactly.
As well. We were there looking at it, and 40 whatever yard run. The guy comes behind and hooks it out on the 1 yard line.
It's a brilliant play from the def. Whoever that was on the defense coming back there. McCaffrey's been an absolute star all year. And Evans, Evans is starting to get hot at the right time. He really is, and I think the matchups that he's got coming up are favourable too. So I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, Marlon Mack will chip in with useful numbers. The Bills D would, that was a waiver pickup too, and that was a useful one at the time.
Yeah.
So they get into the end of their usefulness. I'll give you that. They play Miami next week, and then they're going to go. So if you want to pick up the Bills D, you can in week 12. All right. If anyone wants to do that.
You go. Save your budget.
Exactly that, yeah. So Rushing spend $40 on that. And on the bench as well, I think we had a real bad week with buys, and injuries.
Oof, Kenyon Drake. We can't fault Viv for not playing Kenyon Drake.
No,
24 points.
Not against that D.
I've been with the Cardinals for about 2 days.
That's right. That's absurd. I think he's playing them this week, which is great. So, yeah. But for Viv, I don't think we would have actually made a difference anyway. Just a very average team this year, sadly. So I don't think he's going to be using his Nathwani pick at the end of the year.
No, probably not. Chris, you moved to 7-2, so you may yet be using the Nathwani pick. But yeah, Viv 4 and 5.
You never know.
Next game, then, here we go. It's 4 winnings and a few Newsom and the Wizard of Boz. The team name change bowl took place in week 9 between Coach Nunn and Coach Gardner. Coach Gardner took it. I don't know if he gets some sort of name change trophy, I don't know. But he won it 135-88. Looking down the lineup, Russell Wilson, he has been a fantastic player for them all season. 49 points for them in this one. David Montgomery actually played well as well with 20 points, as did Kenny Golladay, who got 20, and Devin Singletary, 20 as well. On Ross's side, Mason Rudolph didn't play well 2 weeks in a row. He only got 12 points. Josh Jacobs did well with 24. Emmanuel Sanders in his first game with 9, he's got 17, and Cooper got 14. Outside of that, not a lot to speak about. So Ross's team now 6-3. Meanwhile, the Wizard of Boz improves to 4-5. History of this matchup, where is a team on the right there. Ross is now, 2-3 all time against Coach Gardner.
Well, these two for me at this point are the two hipster choices for the current one. I tell you, they are. Russell's got to get out of the division with me in it, which is fair. But I think that he probably will. And at this point, in terms of wild card, I think you've got to look at that.
Yeah,
look at that team and go, he's got a good chance. What I will say is that he's got to have a consistent QB. I'm not sure.
Matt Ryan's been injured and he was on a bye last week,
exactly.
so he'll be back.
He will be back, and in that case, then they've got it. But in this instance, it's not what's lost in the game, but that's just from what I see, a general weakness. I think also an RB2 as well. But Tevin Coleman the week previous was really good.
I think again he was without. He didn't play Sonny Michel.
I didn't have Michael Thomas,
and Robert Woods as well.
There's plenty of guys still to go. So I think without those key playmakers, it's possibly why it's there. The Wizard of Boz, or whatever they call every week, Ollie's team. That's it. Really, they impress me week on week because they just don't die.
No.
You'd expect a team like that to, to have done that by now. But I think Ollie's got a really, some quality components in that team. Russell Wilson, as you say, has been an absolute stud all year. Talk about draft value. It was right down there.
I think around 7 or 8.
David Montgomery earlier on in the year, we were talking about him as being a bit of a bust. Well, not so much. Certainly this week.
It was a weird one too because Philadelphia really good run D, and so
not good.
He's going to be volatile, But
absolutely, but there's quite a few. Like Singletary is exactly the same, but but he should be.
I'm so annoyed.
What could have been?
I held on to him for I think 7 weeks. Waited till after the bye and he came back. Played Miami. Didn't really do anything. I was like, it's not happening.
Nope.
And then randomly, all of a sudden, the Bills are just like, let's play Singletary. We're going now.
They've realised that Frank Gore is, although is a Hall of Famer to be, he's old.
He's very old.
So, and you look at the weekend and so those first and goals.
Yeah, he got stuffed.
He got stuffed three times in a row,
yeah.
And then after that they just lost faith. I think I can see why.
Yeah.
Golladay has been one of those again that's been underratedly brilliant all year. It helps that Stafford's had a real career year, but Galladay's done exactly that, and Odell is what Odell is. That's it. If they could just find a competent offense.
Well, Mayfield came out and said this week that he's going to force feed the ball to Beckham.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens there.
Watch Baker get picked many times. That's all I can say. I think that as provided Russell Wilson's playing well and at least one of his key components. And at this point, I think those key components are Golladay. I think Singletary going forward.
Could be. Yeah, they're a run-heavy team.
Yep, 100%. Then I think they'll be all right. The only real downside to that is obviously the less than 1 point scored by Shady McCoy, who doesn't appear to be in favour at the moment. No. But that can change week on week. I don't know who else he's got on the bench right now who can change him out. Well, Evan Ingram's...
Julio was in a bye too.
So there's still some more quality to come in. I mean, for me right now, they're really dangerous.
Yep, they are. Even though they are 4-5, they've really come on strong.
Yeah, we've seen teams like last year come from nowhere to win. So
absolutely.
That is one of those teams.
Next game then we have Ben Necessities against Ixan. In a battle to keep up for the wildcard in Ben Necessities, Ixan's looking to keep up in the division as they faced off. Both these teams entering this one were 4-4, but Ixan took it 106-79. Ixan, Philip Rivers didn't do too well with only 12 points, but the rest of the team did. Marvin Jones 19, Dalvin Cook 12, George Kittle 14, Cortland Sutton 12, and Derrick Henry 22. Ben Necessities, their quarterback did fire. Deshaun Watson got 24 in front of his own eyes in London. But other than Tyler Lockett, who got a whopping 27, nothing else doing for Ben Necessities. So Ixan go to 5-4. Ben Necessities 4-5 in the history of this game. Now 3-10 in favour of Ixan. Quite one-sided that one.
Very much so. And if you've been watching the podcast for a number of years now, you'll know that I love consistent scoring. And on the right hand side is what you get, exactly what you get with consistent scoring.
Which is funny because it has been Ben Necessities for so long.
Exactly that. So last time we did the pod, we absolutely hyped that team up for exactly the same reasons. They were difficult to beat because they always put up a decent amount of numbers. And Ben this week is it's sort of emulated that. The thing that separates Ben's team from being really good to being exceptionally good is his QB. Philip Rivers this year has not been the Philip Rivers of last year or indeed of past. I just think that, that's sort of what's holding him back. The reason why I say this is that this week I know what he scored already, and it's only 3 points more than that.
Oof.
So, if you can get...
It's the same as sort of thing last year.
Exactly.
You can compare the similarities are striking. The rest of the roster is good, but the stubborn allegiance to a quarterback doesn't deserve it.
That's right.
Will cost you in the long run.
And bearing in mind now at this point of the season, there are a lack of QBs, that are viable to start week on week. I'd like to see just from back my argument. I'd kind of see Philip Rivers' schedule coming up.
Yeah.
Because who have we got coming up? We've got week 11.
Denver is week 11 Kansas City
next week. Then a bye. Then at Denver, at Jacksonville, Minnesota, and Oakland. Wow, the last three.
Not great.
That's not ideal. That's it. And the headline is mistake-filled effort. And then we have a look at what you can pick up. And Jameis Winston's there, and bearing in mind, let's have a look at Jameis Winston's...
Yeah, I mean, he's going to give you a dud every now and then, but between the duds, he usually does put up pretty special.
There you go. Who have we got? So we've got versus Arizona this week, then New Orleans, at Atlanta, at Jacksonville, Indianapolis, at Detroit, at Houston, versus Houston. That, for me, is a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer.
They pass the ball a lot more as well.
Go and pick him up today. Go and put him on your bench, because otherwise you're going to be left behind. And look what's left. You just look what's left.
Yeah, there's not much. Nothing you would trust. Not that you would overly trust, but numbers don't lie. He scored 176 points on the year.
Exactly that, and and that's what takes you to playoffs and to finals and to win things. So you just got to realise when something's not working. On the other side, Dave hasn't had too many down weeks, but just nothing really worked out for him this week. These things happen. I'm not going to go too hard on that, because we've seen where this team can be, and that's nowhere near it.
Yeah. Yep. So Exxon inches further towards the division title. Meanwhile, Ben Necessity's now on a 4-game slide. The season quickly slipping away from them.
Afraid so.
Next one then we have it was last week's Toilet Bowl, Gridiron Gang against Bucking the Trend. In the final Wembley Bowl of the 2019 season, Gridiron Gang faced off against Bucking the Trend. These two have struggled this season. 2-6 Gridiron Gang and 3-5 entering this one for Bucking the Trend. But Bucking the Trend won it 89 to 66. Looking down the lineups, Bucking the Trend, it was a bit barren, but 3 players came up trumps for them, and that's all they needed. Kirk Cousins with 27, Melvin Gordon with 23, the draft pick paid off, and DK Metcalf with 21. Gridiron Gang though, Tom Brady, he only got 15 points. Philip Lindsay had an okay day with 15, and DeAndre Hopkins, was nice seeing him in person score 11 points, but not enough for them to overcome Bucking the Trend. Gridiron Gang falls to 2-7, Bucking the Trend now 4-5.
Oh, I can just say, Wolves just scored an unbelievable goal in the Wolves-Villa game. It was a free kick, edge of the box, rolled it to Ruben Neves, and he just smashed it in from 25 yards. Brilliant. However, that's probably the most exciting thing I'm going to say for the next. It was great. At least you had a good day out, that's all I can say.
Yeah, I got to see my players.
You did. Fantastic.
A ray of joy in this utterly dismal season.
Other than that, dismal display again. Not bereft of touchdowns, but it might as well have been. I can see why you'd be sore that Robbie Anderson didn't score many. And Juju didn't score many after a good week the previous week. Mm-hmm.
I was a bit pigeonholed
Tyrell
this week as well.
Detroit.
Well, look, DJ Moore gets 10. It doesn't make a difference. And I had 3 players on a bye.
Literally, who cares?
I much like the Devin Singletary thing. Obviously, I had DK Metcalf at some point. Wasn't really doing. He's been, he's had some good games since Mike picked him up, to be fair. But just another middle finger by the NFL to me. It feels like, on top of many so far.
Yep, absolutely. It's nice to see that that Mike's gypsy wins keep going. This one wasn't quite so gypsy, I must admit.
He did it with one hand tied behind his back. Adam Thielen got injured in the game.
Absolutely right. So 90 points with one less player is great. The faith showed in Kirk Cousins, where from the depths of us slagging him off 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
now is proving it. So great.
He's been playing really well.
Absolutely, that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's just a shame, Phil, that he didn't play this well last year. Melvin Gordon. That was a ticking time bomb waiting to happen.
Yeah. Once they fired their offensive coordinator, I was listening to a podcast and they said usually when a team has a new coach or you have a coaching change, you get a much more emphasis on the run, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep, that's it. And if there's a guy who's going to do that, it's him. And he's been.
And the reasoning behind that, I should add, is because when you're implementing a new playbook, it takes longer. It's more complex learning the passing side of the plays, whereas runs are obviously much more simple.
Yep, which is why guys like Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and those guys, Hunter Henry, you want to wait for this week. We'll get to this later on, but watch out for them. AJ Brown's been an interesting pick off the waivers as well. I think 81 yards without a touchdown, still decent value for that. Otherwise, it's a solid, if not spectacular, display. If he gets to 90, it's good. Somehow he's managed to make it to 4 and 5. Not quite sure how. But
LOC.
we saw this Guardians team last year.
We did.
And they came to within a hair's breadth of getting to the playoffs. So, as long as you can keep it in there, then great. And provided Melvin Gordon stays fit, they're going to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And now our last game of last week, we have Pakistan against Tom's Tyrants. Pakistan 2-6 entering this one, looking just to get some positive vibes going. Meanwhile, Tom's Tyrants find themselves in a division race, and they would have thought they had an easy win on their hands. How wrong they could have been as they lost this one 100-66. Pakistan with the upset because of Josh Allen's 20 points, Le'Veon Bell's 12. Jordan Howard's 14, Tyreek Hill, they needed him back, he got 21, and Harrison Butker was 16. On Tom's side, Jameis Winston had a good day, 24, but that actually ended up with him being dropped, and the rest of the team didn't get over 10. So Tom's Tyrants, they fall to 4 and 5, now Pakistan 3 and 6. In the history of this matchup, Tom's Tyrants are now 3 and 3 all time against Pakistan.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely upside down numbers here, literally. I mean, again, on Pat's side, this is a consistent score. It's what we like. He's nearly got over 100.
He's done a good job of roster renovation.
That's it, exactly that. He's come back. I don't think the Devontae Adams trade is going to be terrible in the long run. He's just got to make sure that he doesn't fire too late for him to be ineffectual at the end of the year. But you look at that top tier. So you look at Josh Allen. Yes, he's playing Washington, but he's playing in a team which really does has surprised everybody, I think, including themselves. Lev Bell and Jordan Howard. So again, not two guys you'd expect to do very well, but again, plus matchups there. And people can say to me, Chicago's not a plus matchup, but their run D's been awful.
Yeah, since Akeem Hicks has gone down.
Absolutely, they've been terrible. So playing their matchups very well there. As you say, everyone needs a playmaker. Tyreek Hill's that guy. Gallup's very consistent right now, and to have 16 points scored by your kicker alone,
take it.
Great. Harrison Butker has been, to be fair, he has been like that for the last 3 seasons he's been in the league. So yeah, you look down on the roster. Who else have we got down there? We have got for Tom. That's it. Yeah, Kyler Murray is in and out, but he's now the undisputed number 1 on that team. So ride or die on that. And Chris Carson is down there as well.
Yeah,
so,
James Conner, Ashton Jeffrey.
James Conner's out for a little bit. So there are guys to come back, but I do think for Tom this year it has been a bit of a dud, and I think since in the early part of the year, Eckler was an absolute stud for him. Losing those points that he gets has been a real problem.
It's really been a tale of 2 seasons for Tom's Tyrants.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, he's been getting loads of yards, but not really lots of touchdowns. Like you say, Eckler at the start of the year was great. DJ Chark at the start of the year was great, but he's really slowed down a bit as well. And Chris Godwin, of course. Mike Evans has re-established himself as the number 1 option.
Very much so, yes. 49ers was a good pick-up, and for a couple of weeks again there, so they showed that they're, again, beatable and not necessarily fantasy football gold. So, yeah, it's difficult for that. It's a puzzling scenario to find yourself when you're in Tom's position, but fair play to Pat. So he's hung in there. He's trying, and it's just I hope that the turnaround isn't too late.
Sure. And so Tom Sorrent's 3-game losing streak now. No power rankings again, unfortunately. I swear Tom was doing this deliberately. So we'll go to our milestone standings and stats. So if we go to the win-loss over here.
These are the ultimate power rankings, really, though, aren't they? So,
yeah, absolutely. And we almost have a new title holder in the most wins all time, because Phil has now tied my dad with 85 wins. My dad edges it with a slightly better win percentage, one less loss all time. But we'll look at what else is going on with some nice round numbers. So Tom notched his 70th regular season loss last week. Well done.
well done.
Yeah, well done indeed. And nothing else doing on the regular season stats. So we'll pan over to the all-time. Any round numbers?
I got one more win this week. One more win, and I'm back to point
parity.
Back to parity.
Oh no, you are back to parity all time.
Really?
Regular season, one more win. You need to get back. To
one more win. One more win back to parity. There you go. So next week, it's almost as though 10 years.
Yep. My dad notched his 70th career loss as well. So a few milestones for you there. So we'll go to the stats portion now. So we'll take a look at the standings, of course, first. Tugfiles, they're at 8-1. There are only 5 games left. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Is that right? 5 games left?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with one more win, they could pretty much lock it up. Certainly if the Dream Team and Bucking the Trend lose, that they would clinch the playoffs, which is quite early for a clinching. But yeah, as I said, Dream Team and Bucking the Trend, they're tied second in this division, 4-5, and Padasan 3-6 at the bottom. Portsmouth division still wide open. Ixan is leading at 5-4, but he's got the Wizard of Boz and Tom's Tyrants 4-5 right behind him, and it's not still too late for Bedenators at 3-6. They could still make a push for this division, in theory. And Winchester division, then it's a close race at the top. Forge Flyers currently 7-2, with Ross just behind him at 6-3. Then Bear Necessities and Gridiron Gang lagging behind at 4-5 and 2-7. So the wild card is currently in Ross's hands. He's actually the number 3 seed technically in the rankings, but he's 4th seed when it comes to playoffs currently. And the closest challengers are all on 4 and 5 at the moment, so looking good for Ross as well if he can keep it up.
That's it. What we can also say is that every week, I put it out there, can we just have a look at Phil's points against, because it hasn't changed a lot in the last 5 weeks.
Other than Mike's team, no one else is below 800 points against, I can see. Yep. And they are both sitting at mid-600s.
So if you ever wonder why a team like that can get to 8-1, that's why.
And it's worth pointing out, Chris, you were the only team over 1,000 points. That's also quite the achievement.
Thanks.
I think, there's only a couple of other that are over 900, so good job by you.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
It does help that Christian McCaffrey is on course for about 500 points this year.
It really does.
But your team is definitely more than Christian McCaffrey, so
it helps.
And speaking of which, you are the top of the breakdown, and you have distanced yourself a bit with Phil mainly only getting gypsy wins the past month and a half.
Yep.
You were 77-22, which is really good. 10-11 a week after 11-0 weeks. Phil, though, they've been a bit middling. They had a couple of 9-2 weeks a few weeks ago, but outside of that, not great. Ben Necessities, 4-game slide, still find themselves at 3rd on the breakdown, but they've not been good the last few weeks. Ixan, they're leading their division, so you'd expect them to be 4th with 60-39, and then we get to the middle grounds right here, and usual suspects at the bottom. If we go to the coach rankings, Dream Team's still at the top, but that's probably more through a lack of depth. They did leave 33 points on their bench last week. Ben Necessity's there at 2nd as well. Chris, you are maximising your roster in 3rd. You are owning those points. It's crazy that it could have actually been higher.
Yeah.
I got Ross in 4th there. Pat in 5th, Ixan 6th, myself in 7th. And then, like we say at the bottom, Tom's Tyrants, nearly 250 points left on the bench so far. But Ednader's over 200 as well, so some reasons behind being 3-6 right there, you would say.
Yeah.
Same with Ollie's team, he's at 160, so he could have been doing better as well. So then we finally have the true rankings, which should form what you would expect. Oh, actually, there's a few surprises in here. You are top, which everyone expects. And I is 2nd, which is a bit surprising.
But his consistency shows.
That is what's boosting him. The record, obviously, there are quite a few 4 and 5 teams. His points are good, and obviously his breakdown and coach are good as well, so not surprising, I suppose. But yeah, nowhere near what their actual record should be, I guess. Nope. Tuckford's a third. Again, you'd expect that just based on the wins alone. And they have scored some points, to be fair to them. But like Chris says, they have not had a lot of points scored on them. Ixam fourth, so perhaps, even though they are just winning their division, maybe they deserve to be winning their division by...
Change that QB and it'd be higher, I tell you. Change that QB, because that team's great.
Ross's team in tied fourth there. Obviously holding the wildcard spot, you'd expect that as well. And then all of the usual suspects around at the bottom there. So all the milestones, I think that's done. So we can get to the week previews for you now. And to do so, of course, we need to pick a marquee matchup, which often gets easier at this point of the year, of course, because it is crunch time. We'll just, before we do that, we'll circle back. We should give the playoff preview, actually. So, like I said, Ross's team currently holding the wild card. Fudge Flies in the driving seat for a division title. Tuckfield's also very much firmly on their way to the playoffs with Ixan currently leading as well. But in the hunt, very much the Wizard of Boz and Tom's Tyrants, because they can still claim that division quite easily. And then in the wild card race, those two, as well as the Dream Team, bucking the trend. Excuse me. And Bare Necessities.
Choke it up.
Yeah, gosh. It's just like I've choked my season.
Excuse me when I said I can't believe the Wizard of Boz is going to be in the playoffs. That's it, potentially.
Right, while I have a drink, Chris, would you please preview the marquee matchups we have available?
Absolutely right. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Right, come on then. Let's have a look. What we got this week? What have we got?
So we
Good
have
Iron Gang versus the Wizard of Boz. We have Badettes versus Pat Stan. We have Ross's team, whatever they call this week, which is presumably the same thing.
Yeah, he's in Mexico, so...
That's it, oh yeah. Benesessi versus Bucking the Trend, Dream Team versus Tom's Tyrants, and my team versus Ben's. Well, there you go, look.
I think we need to go with the Friendship Bowl.
I think we need to go with the Friendship Bowl. There is part of me which says go with Ross's team versus Phil, because there's more to gain for Ross and less to gain for Phil. But I think
Phil could potentially lock up.
To be fair, this is the two division leaders at the moment. So I'll go with my team and Ben's, because there's something behind that.
Yep. So here we go. Fudge Flies against Ixan. This week it is the Friendship Bowl, but it's not going to be so friendly because it's two division-leading teams fighting to keep ahead in their divisions. They only lead the division by 1 game apiece. Fudge Flies 7-2, Ixan 5-4. Fudge Flies currently slated to win this one, 94-77. History of this matchup does favour Chris, I believe. We will just find out for you. Fudge Flies are 9-3 all time against Ixan. And let's look down the teams. So Darren Waller's already got 4 points for you, Chris. In terms of lineup changes, Latavius Murray comes into the lineup for you.
He does.
In favour of Carlos Hyde, who was on a bye. No other changes?
That's it.
Yep, okay. Ixan side of the ball. Let's see. Todd Gurley comes back in as well for Courtland Sutton, who is on a bye, and I don't think they've changed anything else there either. George Kittle, doubtful for Monday Night Football, though, so unless he's got a backup plan for Monday night, he's definitely going to want to change that. T.Y. Hilton is out. He has still got his injury, and Josh Gordon, full participant. He could play his first game with the Seahawks this week. And I should say, Chris, as well, you are fielding a 31 personnel this week. Meanwhile, Ixan, they are also fielding 31 personnel. So two heavy running teams.
Even, absolutely. Look, it's obviously been really good between Ben and I over the last few years. Great, great for me usually. But here's the difference. This week is that Philip Rivers already played with 14 points, right? That's it. In my head, I'm going, right, need 10 points to come from somewhere else. Where's that going to come from? Well, we've both gone for fairly, as you say, similar systems. So really, it's down to matchups and the fact that George Kittle's not playing. So if we say that if Kittle doesn't play, which I don't think he will, I think it's too much of a risk for him to do anything else.
It'll probably be John Brown coming in, I would estimate.
Brown, Tyler Boyd against that defense is probably difficult, especially with a new QB right now. So let's go with John Brown. So John Brown comes in. He's good for maybe 8 to 10 points on top of where he is. for me, I think it's difficult for Ben to find a route to this one. That's it. Derrick Henry, patchy recently. Dalvin Cook's been a stud. But playing
I would say with the Derrick Henry, the Chiefs aren't great against the run.
They're not.
That's worth noting.
But then Tennessee aren't good on offense.
That's also
simply put. That's it. They've been horrendous for the last few weeks. Marvin Jones against Chicago through the air, anyway.
They're a better pass defense,
especially without Matthew Stafford.
Yes.
Challenging. And Todd Gurley hasn't looked like Todd Gurley. No. In Pittsburgh is difficult.
Pittsburgh have been one of the better defenses this year.
Absolutely. I think the Bears D's got to give him a really good shot this week, bearing in mind the QB they're bringing in. And who's their backup, do you know?
I will find out while you look at your team.
Yeah, on my side of the board, Dak's been hot. Christian McCaffrey's been red hot. Marlon Mack's playing Miami. Evans is playing Arizona. Waller's already played. Latavius Murray, if he plays, is playing Atlanta. Leaky D. Probably going to get all the goal line stuff, but they don't want to injure Kamara again. Bills against Cleveland. If you say that, Baker's trying to get it to Odell a lot, pick. That's it.
Probably.
Let's have a bit of that. So, and the Cleveland haven't been great anyway.
No.
Offensively, so I'm pretty happy with that. Especially as there's going to be a muddled backfield now with Kareem Hunt coming back in. No one's really going to know what's going to happen. I'm feeling good, really good this week. Ben's lose a real key component of his team in Kittle.
There's a few, like you say, Marvin Jones gets downgraded.
Yeah, he's been great, but he's got to rely on his 3 runners to make it a credible score. He's up to, I think it's 77 points on the projection. Call it 87 with John Brown coming in.
Yeah,
potentially. And that's at the very, very best.
Yeah. Just circling back to Lions QB Jeff Driscoll.
Wow,
will start.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Bears D's going to thrive on that.
Yeah. I completely agree with everything you said. You've got some really nice matchups on top of having some really good players. McCaffrey plays a pretty bad run defense in Green Bay. Marlon Mack gets Miami. Mike Evans gets Arizona, though Peterson will be on him, but I don't think it's going to be enough to slow him down.
Nope.
It's going to be interesting with Murray to see how much Kamara. I imagine Murray will get a bit more work than he was doing when Kamara was there, but no doubt he will play the second fiddle to Kamara.
100%. If he plays like Mark Ingram did when he was there, I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah. The Mark Ingram role was still serviceable, at least at a flex level in fantasy. And Ixan's just not got the firepower to beat you this week, Chris, so I agree. You will win, extending your win streak to 5, and Ixan, that perhaps their division lead will be up for grabs.
Yes.
Our next game, then, we have Bedenators against Pakistan. 2, 3, and 6 teams face off this week in Bedenators and Pakistan. The projections currently are this is a bit of a low score at 83 to 68. Bedenators already has 5 points from Michael Williams. In terms of other lineup changes, Lamar Jackson comes in for Aaron Rodgers, and Christian Kirk comes in for. They may have already dropped whoever it was. I don't know who they were playing last week. David Johnson is playing, worth noting. So, but I think Ollie's been a bit burned by him. So we will see. On Pakistan's side, they have not changed their team yet by the looks of things. Might want to do that, Pat. Not got long. So that projection will go up. He's currently got Jordan Howard in. You would figure they'll probably put Curtis Samuel in, I would say. And no defense on the team as well. And I can tell you from personal experience, the options out there are bleak at the moment. So, history of this matchup. Bedenators are 2-3 all time against Pakistan, and really this is a fight to keep the season alive.
Yeah, I think that Pat would have changed the team by now. I don't know if we've got a rule that we will change the team before the.
We don't.
We
don't. No.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, then in this case, then the that's why we do this on Sundays.
Yes.
Ollie's going to win this game. If he doesn't win this game, it's an embarrassing defeat. I think that when you've got someone like Lamar who last week torched the Patriots, and then he goes and plays Cincinnati, he's definitely going to torch them. We say Green Bay or bust. They're playing Carolina at home. Aaron Jones has been a quality at home. Carolina's
not got a really good run D either.
No. So I think that in this sense they're going to have a bounce back week. Sammy Watkins will benefit massively if Mahomes comes back, but not as much as Tyreek Hill on the other side. Christian Kirk's been there or thereabouts, so playing Tampa's great. That's a great time to be playing them. And the Colts playing Miami, well, that's a feast as well. On the other side, like at the moment, literally, who cares? I mean, it doesn't matter if you lost 2 players, then you're going to lose.
Yeah,
so change your team.
Pat does have some players going for him. Obviously, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Le'Veon Bell can be good.
It all doesn't matter
unless he changes his team.
His team.
I would think Pat will. I saw Pat. When did I see Pat? Friday night. So, I think he'll change.
Exactly. Let's say he brings Curtis Samuel in then. And let's say he brings a defense.
I'll show you the defenses on the waiver wire.
Let's do
it's
it.
Not. The problem is a lot of teams are holding 2 defenses right now, which we thought wouldn't happen when we cut the bench spots. But let's sort this by projection because there's a lot of teams on a bye. Those are your choices.
I'd play the Packers versus Carolina, maybe. Or the Jets versus the Giants should be interesting.
The same Jets that just got. I played the Jets against Miami last week.
True, actually, yeah. Detroit against Chicago could be
not with the Stafford now out, I don't think. It's pretty barren. Right. It really is barren this week.
Dear me. Dear me.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any one of those.
The defense probably isn't going to make much difference. That's what we're saying.
Anyone else to score 5 points. I think even if the defense was in, I don't think it really matters.
No.
I think Ollie's probably going to win at a canter. Just because the matchups on the other side are pretty abysmal. I just don't see it. I think Josh Allen's been great all year, but playing Cleveland, they've still got a decent D if they haven't got a good offense. Le'Veon Bell's been very, very spotty all year. Devontae Adams again not in form, playing Carolina at home. Carolina have been good through the air, if not through on the ground. Tennessee, exactly the same thing. Minnesota, exactly the same thing. I just don't see it. It. So yeah, and I say this is to keep the season alive. I think Ollie's got the weapons to be able to do that, and he's got a 5-point lead already. So
yeah,
which doesn't matter a lot, but in this sort of game does.
It does certainly, yeah, and I think you're right. But then we'll probably win this game. Next one, then we have 4 Weddings in a Newsom versus the Tuckfields in the backup marquee matchup. Let's call it. League-leading Tuckfields on a 5-game win streak take on the current wildcard spot holder, 4 Weddings and a few Newsom. Despite being league leaders and on a 5-game streak, they're currently projected to lose this one 102-90. Looking at Ross's team, in terms of changes, I think Emmanuel Sanders has come in for Miles Sanders, and Michael Thomas has come back in as well. Maybe they dropped someone. I don't know. Ross's team is what it is. He's already had 16 points from Josh Jacobs too, which is nice. So they are going with 20 personnel this week. On Phil's side of the ball, Patrick Mahomes comes back into the quarterback position for the injured Matt Stafford. And Jarvis Landry comes in for... Is it Adrian Peterson? Yep, who was on a bye. The Tuckfields are going with 20 personnel as well this week. History of this matchup, all time, Ross is 4-2 against Phil.
Well, so this is where we see whether or not Phil's ballsy move to pay Mahomes probably a week before he's ready is going to play off. I wouldn't necessarily say going to Tennessee away is a good start for Mahomes.
Their past defense is fairly good as well, even losing Malcolm Butler.
That's it. But saying that, Mahomes is Mahomes. I don't know whether you wouldn't have said that. But coming off an injury, it's difficult. Otherwise, Ingram's got a nice matchup, Barkley's got a nice matchup, Tate's got a nice matchup, Landry doesn't have a nice matchup. The Cowboys are playing Minnesota, and Kirk Cousins has been in good form right now.
Yeah.
But the thing with Minnesota is that they've got 2 ways of scoring. Dalvin Cook's great. Cousins seems to have picked his game up, so I wouldn't expect to see a great deal of points coming out of it.
The problem we've seen with Dallas is they play well against cupcakes. Yeah. But when they play a real team,
that's right,
they fall away.
That's it.
So
yeah.
We'll see.
Pancakes. On the other side, Matt Ryan comes back in again. Story of 2 QBs maybe coming back a week previous than what they should be, but we're going with it. New Orleans in the Superdome, difficult game to play in always. Tevin Coleman didn't do a great deal last week playing Seattle at home. Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Seattle's not the best of defenses. Not what they used to be. So.
No, I see it. Same as with Sanders. I think he's been great since he's gone there. Cooper's questionable, but how questionable is he?
He's expected to suit up.
Then fine. He's been a targets monster all year. Michael Thomas will feast against Atlanta. It's just going to be a joke in that game. And the Ravens against Cincinnati, much the same thing. Much the same thing, I'm afraid. I think you're going to see him getting... Yeah, there's going to be some QBs going home crying in that game.
Yeah.
And some Cincinnati Bengals fans going home crying in that game too. So, yeah, I think Ross's team's been on a real hype recently.
It's a good team.
Yeah, I agree. Phil's team's a good team this week too. I think it's going to be closer than we think. Yeah, I just think that maybe it's going to be down to their big guns. I think it's going to be Barkley and Michael Thomas and who scores the most.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I'd say Michael Thomas, because he's been really good this year and playing Atlanta.
Yeah, I think he's on course at the moment to beat Marvin Harrison's receptions in the season record, which is pretty crazy. And you know what, this should be a close game. You're right, because this is arguably, this is definitely deserving of a marquee matchup as well. I would just point that Phil's 5-game win streak. How many of those games did he really deserve to win? Maybe one.
100%.
Maybe one of them. Not much has changed, from this week to last week or the week before that. Okay, he gets Mahomes back, but Mahomes wasn't lighting up on fire before. He's playing, but he's definitely still not healthy.
Nope.
I can't see, what's going to change for Phil. Meanwhile, Ross's team has been on a tear as well recently. I'm going to go Ross's team this week.
Yeah. That's not to say that Phil's team is no good. I mean,
it's not garbage. No. I'm not saying that.
This is the thing. Like Phil come and talk smack about the fact that we don't back his team every week. We've quite rightly not backed his team for the last 4 or 5 weeks.
And he's gotten lucky because of who he's faced.
Absolutely.
He's basically the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. That's it. Yeah. Right. Ross's team is the real deal this year. So if there's circling back around again. If there's one game to watch this week, it is Dallas versus Minnesota, and this game because it's exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Okay. We skipped this game because we started on that, and so we'll circle back to it before getting to the more interesting ones. Gridiron Gang take on the Wizard of Boz. The Wizard of Boz looking to keep up in their division and maybe seize it by the end of the day. Take on Gridiron Gang, looking to just not be bottom of the league and find a win. They're not going to find it though, because projections currently say 99 to 80 in favour of the Wizard of Boz. Looking at the lineups, Drew Brees comes in for Tom Brady, who is on a bye. Devontae Freeman comes back from a bye in favour of DeAndre Hopkins. Damian Williams comes in as well. Philip Lindsay is on a bye. I think you're getting a theme here. And DJ Moore comes in as well for Brandon. Not Brandon Cooks. I don't even know who I was playing off with. On the other side of the ball, who cares indeed? The Wizard of Boz. They bring Julio Jones and Cooper Kupp in over LaShawn McCoy and Odell Beckham Jr. So Gridiron Gang is rolling with 20 personnel this week. And the Wizard of Boz is doing the same. History of this matchup. Gridiron Gang are 4-0 all time against the Wizard of Boz.
Yep. I mean, this week, we look at the QBs and you think to yourself, Russell Wilson's been quality all year, but he also possesses the worst defensive line, or certainly one of them in football. He played in San Francisco, who, for want of a better, they are fantastic when they're blitzing, aren't they? We've seen them all year. They've been absolutely box office. It'll be interesting to see how Russell Wilson and the Seahawks deal with that this week, because San Francisco's they've been so aggressive on doing that all year.
One of the best at evading the blitz too, so it's an interesting matchup.
Absolutely right, it's it, and he keeps plays alive because he's special. But how special can he be consistently throughout this game, especially playing in Santa Clara? Timely for Drew Brees to come back for you. I think that's a good matchup for him to come back in at home against Atlanta. I think that there you got the potential to be able to score some decent points there. But then we look at the rest of the team, and I'm afraid that's where it sort of falls off the rails for you. There's no real, especially if Juju's questionable to play.
Actually, that's a good point. He popped up late as well, which is never a good thing. That's
a real problem. Damian Williams, they might rely on him this week with Mahomes being a little bit banged up, but otherwise nothing really to write home about, especially as Tyrell Williams has already played and didn't do a great deal either. On the other side, when you can substitute out guys like Odell Beckham for guys like Julio Jones,
it's a good position to be.
It's a very good position to be in. You look at Golladay, difficult matchup. You look at Julio, difficult matchup. Look at Cooper Kupp, difficult matchup. Singletary, difficult matchup. Russell Wilson, difficult matchup. Yeah, this is not good for him. So this will bring Ollie's sitting down a little bit. But we saw last week they put 135 points up against. If they lose just a little bit of that, I still think that's enough. But don't get me wrong. This is going to be a lot closer than some games I think you've been in this year. So
hopefully,
I'm still going to win the game.
Yeah,
but not by as much of a margin.
Yeah, you'd be a fool to pick my team at the moment. That's not to say I'm capable of a good week because I have been, but like you say, outside of Breeze and Tyrell Williams also didn't do great for me on Thursday night with 2.5. There's not a lot that you would expect to generate. Meanwhile, Wizard of Oz, you would say, their team's probably going to be more suppressed than it is usually. Certainly Kenny Golladay as well with Jeff Driscoll playing. But, they've still got better players on paper regardless of the matchup. I will say that I may play Jamison Crowder instead of Smith-Schuster if he's injured.
For what that's worth.
For whatever that's worth. And there's no other injuries to speak. Evan Ingram's out, midfoot sprain, which kind of sounds like Cam's Liz Frank, so and to keep an eye on that. But
I'd say if I was him right now, Golladay's hot, but that's not a great position,
no,
as you say.
No,
Odell might well be the
he may switch that before game time. So Coach Gardner to win this one, we both think here. 100%. So our next game then, penultimate game of the week, it's Bare Necessities against Bucking the Trend. 2, 4 and 5 teams looking to keep up in the wildcard race, and Bucking the Trend would not thought we would be saying that about his team at this point of the season, but they are currently leading this one 19-0 and are projected to win it 91-86. Bare Necessities, of course, on a 4-game slide as well. Looking down the lineups, let's stay with Bare Necessities. Jared Goff makes the starter quarterback at Pittsburgh. Not sure I love that, but he did pick up Jacoby Brissett, who got injured, for some reason still on his team, and Deshaun Watson's on a bye. Other changes, I think Matt Brady comes in for Julian Edelman. I'm not sure if anything else has changed there.
Greg Zuerlein ended up on his team.
Yes, it did. It's funny because my dad had Justin Tucker, decided to drop Justin Tucker instead of, I can't remember whatever else kicker he had, but it was questionable. And I was looking there because Zuerlein was on a bye, and I wanted to do some roster games and stuff, and I was like, Justin Tucker's out there. I'm just going to drop him for Zuerlein because they're basically the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just skipped out the bye. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, well.
So Ben indeed.
Might as well just done a trade.
Indeed. Ben Necessities 21 personnel this week. Bucking the Trend, Daniel Jones back in the starter seat for them. Kirk Cousins sits the bench despite the good form. Melvin Gordon, as we said, has already got 19. Alvin Kamara comes back from his bye for Adam Thielen, who was injured. Devontae Parker and Zach Pascal, both from the waiver, come into the lineup over Philip Dorsett, who is gone, and DK Metcalf. There's no history of this matchup, so Chris, take it away.
No, it's it. First time ever. I mean, this really is the testament to Mike and how he's playing the waivers this year, because that team is pretty much bar Kamara, bar the Saints D, and bar Melvin Gordon, that's it, entirely made up of waiver pickups. And if they manage to somehow find a result out of this game, this proves to me, or proves my point earlier on when we were in debate corner. That's it, as to why you should play the game, because this is exactly why.
Yeah.
Guys like Devontae Parker and particularly Pascal 2 weeks ago would have no value. Parker has proved himself, rightly or wrongly, in a rubbish offense, to be a fairly consistent fantasy scorer because they've got only one person to throw to. Now, anyway, they say the guy on the other side has gone down. Zach Pascal's come in. T.Y. Hilton's out. Decent pickup. Really, really good matchup. AJ Brown's in there. We've seen him be useful against worse defenses than Kansas City's, and Kansas City's hasn't been great.
Mm-hmm.
Kamara against Atlanta at home, nice. Melvin Gordon's already got nearly 20 points. Daniel Jones playing the awful New York Jets. At home, doesn't matter.
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
May as well be a neutral ground.
Might as well. And the Saints playing against Atlanta, and they're decent. But on the other side, can I be excited about any of this? Can I be excited about Jared Goff against Pittsburgh?
That's absolutely putrid.
Yes,
Absolutely.
No, I can't. Can I be excited about Matt Brady against Seattle? Over the last few weeks, no, I can't. Can I be excited about Chubb against Buffalo?
No.
Not anymore. Allen Robinson against Detroit? Possibly, but Trubisky's been rubbish.
And Darius Slay's good.
And that helps. Is it Tyler Lockett against San Francisco? No. Kelsey against Tennessee? No. Zerline and the Ramsey at Pittsburgh? Maybe.
Maybe.
But you can't win with that. You just can't do it. So, this could be really close. I know that Dave's been really decent consistently for the last few weeks, but there are some matchups in there that I just go, absolutely no way.
And recent history doesn't lie. You don't lose 4 games in a row for no reason.
Absolutely right. So, it'd be crazy to back Mike's team, but I kind of want to.
It's kind of what you were saying earlier. It's the whole name value thing.
Yeah.
Better Associates has a lot of name value, but that doesn't really count for much.
It counts for nothing in this game. It really doesn't. I really want to back Mike's team, and again, this could be like 90 to 87 or.
I don't think it's even that crazy a route to victory. Look, you've got Alvin Kamara who could absolutely explode against. Devontae Parker's been solid. Daniel Jones has been, he's been QB1 at times.
Yes. If you pretend that Zach Pascal is
so
Hilton.
I don't think it's, and he's already got a 20-point lead. I don't think you can overlook that too. I think it actually makes more sense to go for bucking the trend this week.
Yeah, well that's what I'm going to do.
There you go. So bucking the trend, going to win again and move to 5-5.
Literally doing what he says his name is.
Yeah, bucking the trend. And we have our final game of the week. It is Tom's Tyrants against the Dream Team. Tom's Tyrants take on the Dream Team in a battle of the 4 and 5 teams. Both of these teams coming off losses, and both of these teams definitely need to correct that if they want to stay up in their division or in the wildcard race. Tom currently projected to win it 90 to 75, and he currently has the lead of 20 to 15. Looking down the lineups, Kyler Murray comes in for the now dropped Jameis Winston. Chris Carson comes into the lineup for Leonard Fournette, who was on a bye. I think Austin Eckler and Hunter Henry were playing last week. Kalen Ballage comes in for DJ Chark. On the other side of the ball, the Dream Team, they had Derek Carr on Thursday, who got 15. Ronald Jones comes into the lineup for Frank Gore. Zach Ertz on a bye, they're going to need to change that, which is weird because he's changed players already. But
they've got a real problem, I'll tell you why in a minute.
Yeah, we'll have a look. There's a few players you can swap though. And Kenyon Drake's also come in for... I don't know. I don't care. Who cares? Tom's Tyrants, they are going with 31 personnel this week, and I believe the Dream Team are doing the same. They are indeed. History of this matchup all time. Tom's Tyrants are 8-4 against the Dream Team.
The Dream Team have a problem because they can't move Zach Ertz out to anyone else on their bench.
Is that because they have a reserve? I see. Well picked up on.
So you cannot do that. So he has to drop Kerryon Johnson because he's on IR. You have to.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. Why would you not drop Kerryon Johnson?
You have to drop Kerryon Johnson.
He's not
now.
coming back.
So yep.
This could go down as one of the worst weekly roster moves.
Yeah, this is stupid because you look at because he's got to pick up a receiver or a tight end. So you look at who's a receiver or a tight end, and they'll in the waivers.
Ooh, hello.
I don't think there's now not a great deal because you had Pascal and Parker, who I'd have picked up if I was in this position.
Let's go based on. Let's go on projections. Screw it.
Projections. Let's have
so receiver Ted Ginn, Adam Humphries, Deontay Johnson, Auden Tate, Danny Amendola, Robbie Anderson.
I mean,
Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen's maybe, but probably not.
Josh Reynolds.
DMV. Any of those guys, and that's what you got left. Cole Beasley against Cleveland, by the way, isn't a bad pickup. McKissick against he's a running back. Forget that. Zay Jones already played.
Okay, look,
Johnny Smith's still there.
Any player is better than what's currently in
Absolutely.
the team.
So that's why he's sort of snookered himself with the amount of running backs that he's keeping on any one team. I think when your QB's already played and he's scored 15 and the rest of your team hasn't been playing well recently, you're in a real problem. Yeah, I know he's still got Elliott. He's got 3 RB1s that are in that team. You know, he's got Elliott, Jones, and Drake.
Well, Dave Johnson's back, so Drake's not even an RB1.
Ouch. So then he has to replace him with the other RB1s that are on his bench, which are Mixon. Jaden Samuels. Why would you not play Jaden Samuels this week? Why would you not play him? Because if James Conner's out, why would you not play him? It's just silly not to do that. Man, there's some problems over there. There's some problems over there. As it stands, no chance. That's it. Because the Chiefs might go and sack Ryan Tannehill 10 times, but it doesn't matter if your QB score 15, you're trying to get by with one less player.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenyon Drake, as you just said. So if David Johnson's back, then his value is nothing. On the other side, Kyler Murray's going to have a good game. Carson's difficult against a difficult D. He's already got 19 points with those two. I think that's decent return. Godwin, good matchup. Ballage, hate that. Hate. And any Miami running back, hate. Yeah, especially as they're going to have points dumped on them early. Yeah, I know Brian Hoyer's coming in, and I know that they think it's going to be tight, but look, when you've got a system like they've got there, it doesn't matter. They said this at the beginning of the season about Brissett coming in for Andrew Luck, that he won't be able to play like him, and he's coming in and proved them all wrong. Brian Hoyer will come and play like Jacoby Brissett, no problem at all. And he'll rely on Marlon Mack.
Brian Hoyer's been a pretty good quarterback, and let's face it, they're playing Miami. Does it really matter?
Exactly that. Brian Hoyer's been around and done it. That's it.
He's got 3 touchdowns after he came in the game.
Exactly. So, I think give him credit for where it's due, and Giants playing the Jets is obviously a good matchup right now. So, I think that Tom's got enough over there. There is an absolute mess of a team over there that needs to be sorted out. And pick somebody else up other than Zach. At least make a game of it.
It's funny because I can actually. Tom, look, okay, Viv's only got 15, but Tom got 20 from 2 plays that probably he would have hoped would have done more. Carson's got a tough matchup in San Francisco. Godwin is playing second fiddle to Evans right now. Ballage, I'm just not even going to register that as an option because Colts are pretty good on D as well. Murray's against Tampa Bay, but it's at Tampa Bay. He's still a rookie. We've seen him not have great games. I'm just saying I could see it not being a great week for Tom, and I'm not making a case for the Dream Team because he needs to get Ertz out. He needs to drop Kerryon Johnson for anyone. And like you say, Kenyon Drake, look, he's going to get some work. We know David Johnson's not going to carry the full load, but is it going to be enough? Bucks have been really good against the run as well. We've got to remember that.
True.
Elliott's not been amazing this season, I'd say. He's pretty much a lock cert to get double digits, but he's not really had his explosive games that we've seen. Ronald Jones, he appears to be the starter for Tampa at the moment.
Yeah.
But again, the Cardinals' run day isn't awful. And Diggs doesn't play as well when Thielen's not there.
No.
This could be a really low-scoring game.
Dallas as well, so that's...
Yeah. So
that's always intimidating.
Right now, I think you're right, Chris. Go with Tom Science. If Viv makes some changes, I think, honestly, Viv could win this one.
I'd be interested to see it.
Yeah.
I'd be amazed to see it at this point.
Yeah. And there you go. Mike says, you make it sound so hard to pick me. Well, Mike, it is, quite frankly. But
the stats don't lie.
my dad's team has been pretty good despite the 4-game loss.
And you are the lowest scoring team.
Yeah, you are. Sorry. That is the end of our show. I hope you like the pre-game build-up editions of the NOC Report.
We do.
They're pretty fun for us.
That's it. It makes life a hell of a lot easier.
It does. So we hope you've had a good weekend and had a good Sunday, and look forward to your NFL coming ahead of you and your fantasy matchup, of course. And why will my outro music not play?
Don't worry, we can fill.
We can fill. We don't need to because it's enough. So good luck in your matchups this weekend. Unless you're playing me, of course. We will be back next week at some point. Thank you for joining, Chris.
Thanks. That's it.
We'll see you next week, listeners. Goodbye.